Welcome to the Wisdom of the Body Summit, an online event to align with your body's intelligence for healing, optimal living, and spiritual awakening. Brought to you by Sounds True. Throughout this summit, 32 experts will share practical tools and breakthrough insights that have emerged from the convergence of science and time-honored perspectives from the world's spiritual traditions. As we learn to recognize and honor the incredible wealth of knowledge that lies within our bodies, we can begin to listen and attend to ourselves more fully, opening a doorway to greater health and well-being. Welcome, everyone. Today, I'm excited to introduce best-selling author, master teacher, and internationally recognized exponent of Ayurveda from India, Acharya Shunya. For this session, Shunya will be sharing a presentation titled Ancient Secrets of Awakening Health for Body, Mind, and Soul with Ayurveda. Welcome.
Well, welcome to my session. I am so excited to be sharing with you Ayurveda. This is not just wisdom that I talk about or write about as a professional or as an exponent or for a vocation. I'm a passionate fan of Ayurveda. I am grateful to Ayurveda. It has changed my entire existence, and it has given me so much hope and happiness. And I have the privilege of sharing that hope and happiness with you in this session. So by choosing to learn about Ayurveda from me, what you're really doing is connecting with my soul. And I'm going to tell you all, I'm going to tell you how Ayurveda is not just a system of medicine to fight disease. You might come in thinking that you need to overcome a disease, but what you will reclaim from within is something amazing. You will reclaim your own right and to be truly healthy, truly sovereign, have freedom to be truly happy and hopeful in life. So shall we begin? One thing is that Ayurveda is defined in Sanskrit, the land it comes from in India. It was, compiled a long time ago in an ancient language, Sanskrit, which not even many Indians speak anymore. But someone like me can help decode the deep teachings from there. And in Sanskrit, Ayurveda is defined as Ayusho Vedaha Ayurveda, which literally means it is the knowledge of your life. Wow, interesting, isn't it? It's not the knowledge of your disease. It is the knowledge of your life. It is the compendium of everything you need to do so that you can have a wonderful life. How interesting that this ancient medicine would start by wanting to connect you to life. And what is that life principle inside you? It is that pure consciousness, pure awareness, the soul, which is known as Atman. So apart from the body, apart from the mind, you have a third invisible entity inside you, which should not be just simply dismissed as something invisible or maybe or probably. Ayurveda wants you to accept that there is a third part of you, that you have a deeper self, and it gave it the name Atman. And Atman literally means Apanoti iti sarvam, the boundless one. So deep inside you, you are boundless, you are limitless. So all restrictions, all body-based experiences of being limited, of feeling stuck under a deluge of symptoms or a poor prognosis is one level of existence. But Ayurveda wants you to blast through all of that to understand that you are a boundless one. So boundlessly, you can reclaim health from within you. And therefore, life is about boundlessness, not being bound. It is about being free and sovereign and not being in bondage and restrictions of physical and mental symptoms. So there you go. Here's a start for you to understand that Ayurveda comes from the meditative trance and channeled wisdom of ancient seers who happily were not just men. These are women also. The men were known as rishis, and the women sages were known as rishikas. They gave to the world ancient wisdom known as the Vedas, and Ayurveda comes from that. In fact, Ayurveda is known as the Pancham Veda. There are 5 Vedas: Rigveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, Atharva Veda, and the 5th one is Ayurveda. This is at least a 10,000-year-old wisdom, and I'm not just throwing that number out there. Linguistic, historical, paleontological evidence supports the fact that there were very ancient civilizations out there back in the southeast part of this planet, and they were thriving. And India was the cradle of civilization, and not just the beginnings of civilization, but advanced civilization that gave us the systems of yoga, meditation, and of course, Ayurveda. So if you want to reclaim your life and connect from a boundless life essence back with that life, then come on along this journey with me. In just a short time, I'm going to share with you what gives me the sparkle in my eyes, the happiness in my smile, the health in my hair. I recently went to a reunion of high school friends, and we are all in our 50s. And my friends were pulling at my hair. Is this yours? And I said, it's all mine. And it's because I'm a boundless being, and I'm using an amazing wisdom to reinvent and renew and rejuvenate myself again and again, again and again, again and again. And what I do, what I believe in, what I teach, what I write about has actually created a revolution. And it just happened. When one person becomes really happy, they become healthy. We think that when I'll become healthy, and the conventional health, when my cholesterol becomes perfect, when my weight is perfect, then I'm going to be happy. In the meantime, Ayurveda says, become happy. Happiness is inside you. It's your true nature. One of the another names for Atman, the boundless one, is Ananda, the blissful one. Be happy, and you will become healthy. So there's so many things that I can tell you about, but let me just begin with saying that Ayurveda introduces you, therefore, to a beautiful state of health, which doesn't have to be fought for. You don't have to grasp for it. You don't have to wait with a pensive mindset thinking, oh, great, now that I have had this condition or this age, now I'm just going to be losing one by one. That's not going to happen. It's not like you just have to wait for your cells to slowly, die on you. Or aging to catch up on you. You can literally reclaim perfect health that lives inside you as your true self, Atman, and therefore perfect health, the state of perfect health in Sanskrit is known as Arogyam. So whenever I am teaching courses and classes, I give people a mantra, and you can say that, you can learn that yourself. It is called Aham Arogyam. And you can hold your heart here or your stomach or any part that's aching and say, Aham Arogyam, which means I am health. I am health. I just forgot. It just got clouded over by bad diet, wrong choices, or toxic relationships, but I am health. And now that I'm connecting with an ancient body of wisdom that has survived across millennia and has created a worldwide revolution of health, happiness, and well-being, then I am being assisted to remember who I am and my healthy essence. See, it's really important to remember. I think that is why the rishis and the rishikas gave the world Ayurveda. Not to teach us to get into this militant mode about health, but to remember our health and to enjoy it. You know it out there in nature, Plants and animals also, age, decay, die. That's part of the law of being a biological being. But There is none of the medical drama that only we human beings undergo. Why? Because the marigold, the sparrow, the deer out there in the jungle did not forget what nature wants from them. They are conditioned to work with Mother Nature and the change of the seasons and the change of the light in a 24-hour day. So they change their food, their meal, their activities, their rest and motion, and that schedule based upon Mother Nature's gentle suggestions. But we humans, we go, oh no, we're going to do what we want. The entire big globe of sunlight can start set. There is no light in our part of the planet. But what did we do? We used our mind and technology and created the light bulb. Now we have the whole parallel universe called the internet. So the universe can fall asleep on us. Hint, hint, it's time to go to bed. We may choose belligerently, rebelliously, and rather proudly and vicariously, snobbishly decide not to go to bed. But these things have consequences, because you are pushing your body beyond the framework of Mother Nature. And that framework is not to punish us, but to hold us, to caress us, to support us in our life, so that we can remain in touch with Arogyam, with our boundless one, Atma, the ever-free one, Nitya Mukta one. So there's just this beautiful teachings of how you can connect with nature. And if you forgot, here, let us help you. That's why if you were to read, say, my writings, or if you were to come to my classes, or even when you are talking to me right now, there might be a part of you that aches to be one with the rhythms of life, to be one with the rising sun and the setting sun. You've noticed it. As the light increases, you feel more enthusiastic and active. As the light decreases, you feel more introverted and wanting to feel secure and hugged and loved, or cozy at the least. So, these things are not just something you have to ignore. These are real signals, with the brain and the gut and the body and the sun and the moon. They're all connected. And fortunately, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We just have to go to someone who can tell us patiently and systematically all about Ayurveda, in simple steps, so that you can align your life back to how life should be, in celebration of your natural essence. A rose out there in my yard is celebrating itself. The cherry blossoms coming up are going to be celebrating that. They are not, questioning their essence or their right to be who they are or their right to blossom, but they are following the cues of Mother Nature. Cherry blossoms come out when spring is close by or in, full throttle. They don't come out in the dead of winter. Mangoes grow in summer, not in fall. Everything has a rhythm, and this rhythm in Sanskrit is known as Rita. And this Rita is connected to, in Sanskrit, what is known as Satyam, and what we know deep inside as truth with a capital T. This is not truth of one people who look a certain way, worship a certain way, eat a certain way, copulate a certain way. We're talking about the truth because of which the planets are on their orbit, because of which the sun shines and the wind blows. We're talking about a universal, timeless truth. And that truth is what we have to discover. And we don't have to work too hard because Ayurveda got it. It got it for us, and it told us how to return to it and not live in our false, fabricated silos of life, thinking that our technology, our insurance companies, our expensive gadgets, our medicines that are made up of all kinds of artificial ingredients in laboratories that have never seen the sunlight are going to save us. They're going to rescue us. Get over it. Get over it. I'll tell you, your health lives inside you right now. I will tell you that because you are made up of the same thing that the rest of the universe is made up of, which is called 5 elements or Panch Mahabhutas, the 5 great elements. They are ether or space, air, fire, water, earth. These aren't just random things that the rishis and the rishikas just picked up and created a hypothesis on a whiteboard and then shared, published a couple of research articles that were not really corroborated by life. You can see that, in this whole universe, you can see that there is a quanta, a field, which is known as space. Even the planets are moving, which is air. There is a cohesion in that field, which is water, the forces of attraction, There is this big matter bodies known as earth. And it is a fact that there is a sun in the middle, which is fire. In each and every cell, there is a field, that cell, that is space. There is, protoplasm or cytoplasm, which is water. There is movement of the cell, which is air. Okay. And there is cell wall and cell organelles, which is earth. And in the center of every cell is nucleic acid, which is fire. So you can see even in an atom, okay, there is a quanta. There is movement of the electrons. Where there is motion, there is also static bodies of matter, the protons and the neutrons. There is cohesion, which is water. And it is a fact that when you split a single atom, amazing amounts of fire comes out, nuclear energy. Modern teachings have taught you 3 states of matter: gaseous, liquid, and solid. Quantum physics has taught you 5 states of matter: etheric, gaseous, liquid, matter, and also the thermal state. So the 5 states of matter according to quantum physics completely ties up with the 5 states of matter according to the Vedas and Ayurveda. And these 5 states of matter are living in you. They live in the popcorn, in the jalapeno, in the cheesecake, in the banana, in the alcohol, in the marijuana you're smoking today. So depending on what elements you are ingesting, like increases like. So in a given day, if you are made up of the 5 elements, you could be increasing your fire elements and suffering from fire conditions. You could be increasing your water element and increasing some water-related symptoms in your body, such as water retention or even sadness. You could be increasing earth and gaining strength in the mind or muscles in the body, or just becoming obstinate in the emotional sense. So you are an organic poetry. You're not just something made of plastic. You're not just a machine. Everything is made up of the 5 elements. You eat them, you digest them, you eliminate them. It goes into the soil becomes a plant. You eat the plant again. The 5 elements are just circulating. That's what you are. It is so simple. I will tell you, you may think, how can something so simple heal my condition, my fibromyalgia, my asthma, my multiple sclerosis, my diabetes. But I'm going to tell you that I'm sitting here, 50 plus years old, who spent a whole life immersed in Ayurveda because I was born in a family, a lineage promoting the Vedic sciences of Ayurveda, of yoga, and of Advaita, which means non-dual wisdom from the Vedas. I have seen miracles all my life in India. And then I thought this was because my grandfather was a self-realized being. I'm not going to be able to do it. But once I started giving this information, all right, there we go. The miracles have started. They've not stopped. I've talked about so many of them in my book, Ayurveda Lifestyle Wisdom. And I'll talk to you about some of them if we have time permitting. But the fact of the matter is that health is simple. It need not be expensive. It need not be complex. These 5 elements become forces called doshas. That's another amazing concept that I'm not going to go into now. But I can just tell you this much, that doshas are something you don't need a doctor to fix for you. Doshas are forces in the body made by the 5 elements. The switch is in your hand. What an empowering sign. So when I know that my fiery force called Pitta is up, I know exactly what I have to eat. I know exactly how I have to talk, how I have to think, what I have to apply on my body, and then bingo. Within few days, the fiery dosha is now serving me. It's making me intelligent. It's making me digest my food. It's making me be very clear with my boundaries in my relationships. It's making me feel warm despite it being a really chilly winter in California. It's working for me. It's not burning me up. It's not giving me hot flashes. It's not giving me inflammation. It's not cutting holes in my body, just by burning my tissues. So you can do so much on your own. And that is how it should be. Medicine is about you, the soul, using ancient, beautiful wisdom to come back to nature, to come back home, and to connect your body and mind to Mother Nature. Here, Mom, take care of us. Isn't that beautiful? Rather than this nightmare and having to, fight and the disease. And the moment a symptom comes, fear takes over and you're in like a paralysis mode. What do I do? No, don't get me wrong. I'm not against Western medicine. I think it has huge, heritage of humanity, and it can really help you if you need something in a jiffy, like, you're bleeding and you've had an accident. I would also go to a Western medicine hospital, but for healing, for rejuvenating yourself, for really looking at the disease that's been chronic in your life or your genetics and saying, what do you want from me? You need wisdom, not machines. That's what I want to tell you. Now, another beautiful thing is that you, the microcosm, is connected to the macrocosm. So this is Pindanda, the unit, and the macrocosm is Brahmanda, the environment could be social, as in your family, community, country, cultural, social environment. It could be your biological environment, as in the womb you grew up in. It could be your food environment, as in what kind of produce you're eating, what kind of pesticides are used in your, cooking, or the foods you're cooking. So there's so many environments that we have: ecological, psychological, social, spiritual, and you are reflection of that. So therefore, here is another beautiful way of healing yourself. Don't just focus on yourself, focus on your environment. Change your environment, enjoy your internal improvement, So it's so amazing. You change, the set of people you talk to, your friends, your mind starts changing. You change the food, your cellular environment starts changing. You spend less time in a cluttered and home and clean up your home. You feel spacious inside you. You spend time in nature, just lying back on the grass and looking at the rolling clouds. Something flows within you. These are real teachings from Ayurveda. I have used it on CEOs. I have used it on busy homemakers. I have helped college students with it, and they go, oh my God, it's that simple. I didn't even realize that my untidy home was having an effect in my body, or the people I was talking to were not necessarily the people I should be hanging out with, at least so much or all the time. So these little things can also make a difference, because yatha pinda, tatha brahmanda, the unit and the macrocosm, the micro and the macro are inherently connected. As is above, so is below. The 5 elements in the whole universe and the 5 elements in you. And that is why Ayurveda says that you must pay attention to the seasons. Hello. Seasons are not just for changing your, buying a new set of clothing, fall clothing or spring clothing or a new bag. We all do that. And I'll confess, even I've done some of that. But it doesn't mean that we don't change our food. We still keep eating that same food or that same diet, either because we came across it in a magazine or a blog site, or it's our grandmother's recipe. It's all fine and good. But the fact of the matter is that Ayurveda wants you to pay attention to the season. And that is why, hint, hint, the season is growing different things for you. All animals in different seasons look for different grasses, even different animals to hunt. But we humans, we're just go for our comfort foods, our cultural foods, our go-to foods, and our body becomes that. That those sounds are my dog playing, by the way, and he's a happy dog, so he's going to be a healthy dog. Yeah, seasons are not cosmetic; they are asking you something. So teachers like me teach in-depth seasonal cuisine, not just this. You just don't look up what foods are growing in a certain season and eat them, because Ayurveda has done research on what are the superfoods, what foods you must consume. For example, if you have to consume pomegranate, the best time to consume it is in fall, because fall is a time when the fiery dosha, or the fiery element in the whole universe, increases in your part of the planet. So it will also increase in your body, and you can have mouth sores and fiery conditions. And pomegranate is a cooling food. So all my students and readers worldwide would be eating those pomegranate recipes that I share, or at least eating a pomegranate a day. And when you eat pomegranate at the right time in the right season, not just the way modern nutrition says, eat it all the time, as much as you can. It doesn't matter when, where, and how, but in the fall, when your body most needs it, is most receptive to it. And in a traditional sense, pomegranate ripens in fall. So it just doesn't live in a storage, in nature. It comes to us in fall. You consume it in the right process. And people who've had a history of rosacea tell me that, their skin is feeling better. People who've had hot flashes that have not gone away despite all kinds of, postmenopause therapies, tell me that their hot flashes have stopped. So there is a reason why the environment is going through a certain change at a certain time, and that time and rhythm is important for us. And because we forgot, thankfully, we have Ayurveda to show us the way. And there's another amazing thing. I bow to Ayurveda rishis and rishikas for showing me this. They said that our mind has three qualities. One quality is called tamas, which is a depressed and dull and sorrowful quality. In this, our knowledge and our soul, it gets concealed from us. Our Atman, you hear the word boundless and you go, just one more woman from India telling me all these wonderful things in Sanskrit. I'm not going to believe her because I feel small. That's a tamas quality. Don't believe it. It's just a quality. It's like the cloud covering the sun, but the sun is the reality, not the cloud. Then there is a quality called rajas. It means the mind is very distracted. You project and, all kinds of altered realities. You're not schizophrenic, but you just imagine scenarios that may or may not be true. For example, you may just get some ache in your, in your arm, and you might think, oh my God, I'm developing, a problem. Or you might have your heartbeat goes up one day and you go, oh my God, I'm developing a heart condition. So, you get anxious quickly. And so that's one thing. And such people, they get excited about a knowledge, but then they lose that excitement equally quickly because now they're excited about something else. So that's the rajas quality. But then there is another beautiful quality of the mind that one can cultivate, and it is called sattva. It is the quality of balance. It is the quality of equanimity, inner peace, inner light, inner radiance, and inner health. When your mind has that quality shining, symptoms self-disappear. Your body is a self-healing entity. It just needs support from the mind. Till date, Western medicine hasn't decided if mind and body really talk to each other. There's some talk about psychosomatic conditions, but not really. But Ayurveda says every somatic condition has a beginning in the psyche, period. And that if your mind is in the other two modes, darkness and agitation, your body, you can try a lot, but it's going to keep giving you resistance. But you bring your mind into the sattva mode, it's the godly mode. It's a divine mode. It's the mode where your aham arogyam, your inner health, is flowing through you. Those messages are happening. You're talking to nature. You're working with the universe. It's not like this super conscious, and it can happen moment to moment. I live in this mode with my mind. I feel creative. I feel original. I feel spontaneous. I feel playful. I have a condition come up, I work with it, it's gone. I have so many students who have now perfected this state of mind. This is the biggest news I want to give you, that Ayurveda teaches you, and I teach you in my writings and in my teachings, how to have sattva, or the balance mode, or the shining mode, the health mode dominant in your mind. And you can do it simply by living the Ayurveda lifestyle called Dinacharya. It's a 24-hour lifestyle that I teach, that I write about. And, you can even do few things from it. But the more you hone with that lifestyle, get up at this time, bathe at this time, bathe with these products, have lunch at this time, walk 100 steps after your lunch. Don't just sit down. Try to go to bed by this time. Okay, we understand a few days you can go to bed early or by 10 p.m., but generally go to bed by 10 p.m. Oh, before you go to bed, take a little bit of oil, put it on the top of your scalp. There'll be lots and lots of teachings. You could pick up 20% of that, 30% of that. And the more you make them part of your lifestyle, the more sattva in your mind. See, that's the thing. And the more sattva in your mind, the more you want to live by this lifestyle. This is amazing. So this lifestyle teachings that I give, it's a whole art. And it's a jazz, it's a dance, it's a celebration. You're not going to say, oh, Shunya, why did you teach me this lifestyle? You're going to say, yippee. This lifestyle, I don't know. I'm getting up at this morning and I'm goggling with these herbs and I'm, putting these spices in my food and I'm just feeling like I'm brand new. These are the kind of letters I get from all over the world. These are the kind of hugs and flowers I get from my students, So why? Because it's their sattva. And then they say things like, my life has changed. And then, Ayurveda teaches Dinacharya, it teaches certain recipes, which I have in my book, etc. Or, everywhere around me, you can find these things. There are thoughts that you can think, what kind of thoughts you should be careful about, the shaming thoughts and the blaming thoughts. You should question them. Do I want them? They're not going to let my mind have sattva. Or do thoughts that I can overcome anything because I'm Atman, the boundless one. So I teach thoughts, I teach what behaviors you can have, what should be your attitude towards, parents who are kind of, over demanding, or in-laws, or a partner who betrays you. So even these things come into Ayurveda. What can be your response? And even certain rituals, such as your connection with the sun and the moon. These rituals are not religious. These rituals are you, the soul, connecting with your universe, connecting with your fairyland, connecting with your magic possibility. And I'll try to teach you one of them, time permitting. So you might think, really? Is that simple? Again, that same question. Is it that simple? You mean the whole modern world has not figured out what something so ancient has figured out, that you can just change your mind with your lifestyle, your food, your behaviors towards important relationships, and a couple of, rituals, and then your health starts changing? I'm going to say yes. And because I knew that these are certain questions, I will tell you at least about 3 people, real life people, real life Californians who I have met, whose life changed just by these things that I'm telling you. There's the 22-year-old Brittany Barrett, who I talk about in my book. She was, when I met her, she had ulcerative colitis. She said she was bleeding so much. Her words, I feel like holes, my body's eating holes unto itself. And, she was in a bad state, with 18 pills a day. And I just taught her 5 things, which included set your wake-up time. And I told her an ideal wake-up time according to the lifestyle, the Dinacharya. Every day, take a walk and gift flowers to yourself, the happiness factor. Every day, meditate daily, aham arogyam. The health is already inside me. You know what? I'm just expecting for it to come through and save me and help me. I don't need anybody else. Meditate on that. List of harmful foods based on, she was eating just a certain college grad diet. So I didn't take away her pizza, but I restricted it to once a week versus any other day at any time. And then a list of healthy foods, not just seasonal foods, but superfoods, like green gram or Ayurvedic buttermilk, which is homemade with a certain recipe, which is ideal for colitis or any kind of stomach conditions. So here's the recipe, here's how you make it. And with just these 5 things, within a few weeks, she wrote to me that her bleeding had lessened. Within 1 year, she had gotten off of every pill, those 18 pills to manage her ulcerative condition, plus 1 extra pill of antidepressant that she'd been having since age 16. A revolution in her health. Today, she has become a pioneer of health herself because she knows is our birthright. We're not begging. We don't have to fight for morsels of health. Health is our truth. And simply by connecting with Mother Nature, we can have it. Then we have Duncan, this guy, I met him at age 68. He just spent 8 weeks, reading up on Ayurveda and, he didn't even, he just came to just a random class that I was giving. Something like, nothing deep or systematic, just some teachings. But within that 8 weeks, he wrote a blog, which is still out there. And he said he lost 10 pounds because he was cooking this one Ayurvedic recipe made with green gram and rice and turmeric and clarified butter and rock salt. It's called khichdi. And it has a certain twist in the way I teach it because it's from my lineage of 400-year-old recipe. And he lost 10 pounds with it just in 8 weeks and eating it 4 times a day. And he wrote, he didn't even feel like he was sacrificing anything because it was so delicious. It is delicious. And then in 8 weeks, a postnasal condition that we'd been having for months stopped. He had an itchy scalp that just wouldn't go away. That disappeared. His nighttime urination reduced because he started following certain principles that I teach on, Ayurveda teaches on when to drink water, when to heat it, when to not heat it, etc. A few tiny rules, and the nighttime urination stopped. As a result, his sleep improved. And then a few months later, he did some blood work like he does, and they were the best ever. And that's when he wrote a complimentary blog in support of Ayurveda and the work I do. It was such a treat to read that, but it was just a confirmation of what I know to be true, that Ayurveda works. It has the truth. Then there's Beverly. Beverly Herrera was a realtor in her mid-50s, maybe when she met me. She'd been having a stomach ache for 30 years. 30 years is not a small time. She just lived with it, just through willpower. There were better days, there were less better days, but now there was no better day. It was just bad, worse, and bad. So she had had all kinds of tests. Was acid coming back in her stomach? Was she having H. pylori? Was she having multiple rounds of antibiotics? And she came to me because somebody said, you must meet my teacher. And she's pretty cynical at that time. And she said so. She said she doesn't believe anything, but her daughter asked her to meet me and she trusts her daughter and she couldn't let her daughter down. And I said, you know what? Here are some Ayurveda do's and don'ts from a lifestyle and diet perspective, just minimum. You can't give a whole PhD to somebody who's already feeling cynical, So I have sattva. I'm smart. I'm not going to overwhelm her. I just gave her a few things. And I said, try this. In a month, check back with me. Let's see if it works. In a month, I didn't know she'll come back. She came back with that happy look. She said she has had 50% improvement in her health. 50% improvement in her stomach pain. I said, go do more of the same. I didn't give her any herbs, no medicines, just she working with Mother Nature and reconnecting with her health through intelligent lifestyle and food changes. That's it. I didn't convert her into anything else, just simple suggestions. 3 months later, she says 90% improvement. And after that, Beverly was just like, oh my God. I I was teaching a professional level, path in Ayurveda medicine back then. And so she registered in my school and studied for 5 long years and became a doctor of Ayurveda. She had her grown daughter study with me. She became a huge, big ambassador of Ayurveda. She's still a realtor, a top realtor in California, but she is just a happy gal. That's all I can tell you. All these things happened, because she does things that I have told her, like, get up at a certain time, eat at a certain time, eat certain foods in a certain season for sure, avoid a few things, learn to talk to her own mind, talk back to her own mind if it starts giving negative things. And she expects health, and she is healthy because aham aharogyam, health lives inside us. Finally, before I give you that spiritual teaching that I wanted to give you a practice, I want to tell you that you're safe with Ayurveda. Do you know why I am such a big ambassador of Ayurveda? Do you know why I would feel comfortable promoting it for the rest of my life? Because everywhere you go, we are asked to compartmentalize our experience, to split ourselves up. And our body goes to the physician, our mind goes to the psychiatrist, our spirit goes to the priest, and our relationships go to the counselor. I just don't know about that. We're all split up. But Ayurveda brings us back together. It sees us as a whole entity. And Ayurveda, in Sanskrit, there is a verse which I love. It says, Sharir Indriya Sattvatma Samayogo Dhari Jivitam Nityagascha Parayana Yurujyate, which means you are life. And your life is symbolized by the amazing continuity and integrity of what Sharira, body, Indriya, your senses, Sattva, your mind, and Atma, your true self, your pure consciousness, your soul. And all of these together create life. You can't just take one part apart, dedicate it, or address it, or scold it, or even love it. All of this has to be kept in a continuity, and then alone will you be truly healthy. So you are seen in Ayurveda. Everything I teach, whether it is foods, whether it is a lifestyle, and whether it is a spiritual practice that I'm teaching, it has a multi-dimensional impact on your physical being, on your psychological being, on your sensorial being, on your social being, and on your spiritual being, all of it. That is why there is such a quick action. Many people think Ayurveda is slow. It's not slow. It takes just the right time, and it gives you real results that won't just turn around quick. They won't just reverse on you and you're back in the same place. Many people think in Ayurveda you have to be vegetarian. Not at all. Ayurveda uses the entire laboratory of ingredients, whether it is from the animal or the plant kingdom, and says, from a non-violent space, consume natural medicine, and down the road you too become natural medicine when your body returns to the earth. So the best thing you can do is eat really pure food, so that when you are under that earth, or when you become ashes, you are returning the best 5 elements back to nature. That's what you can do. So it is such a beautiful thing. One of the practices that I teach, which I want to end with, is the practice of blessing your own self. That's right. We go to the temple or the church or the mosque, or the Gurudwara, depending on our religion, to be blessed. And we go to our gurus to be blessed. We go to our parents to be blessed, our elders to be blessed. But did you remember to bless yourself? The reason you can bless yourself, no matter, is because your body and mind are under the protection of the Great Spirit. You are that Great Spirit. You are Atma, the boundless one. You are Nitya Mukta, the sovereign one. You are Ananda, the eternally blissful one. You are Chaitanya, pure consciousness. You are Satchit Ananda, the truth, the consciousness, the blissful one. So you don't know this, but you have a hidden aspect of you that is divine. And that aspect of you is very active early in the morning before sunrise and rise right up till about 6 a.m. So if you are able to get up early in the morning, then I would suggest you wake up. If you do need to use the restroom, go ahead and use the restroom. But if it's not urgent, and all kinds of urgent issues will come down if you live an Ayurvedic lifestyle. So then when you wake up, I tend to, the first thing I do when I wake up is I open my hands like this and I look at them. And see, right in your hands, any knowledge that you have ever gained has been through these hands. You have read books, you have written things. So any wealth that you have created, any abundance, including of family, nurturing a child, holding a child, that's also abundance. Abundance is not just money, or you've tilled a garden, that's also abundance. That's also through these hands. And also any power that you have tilled within you and created in society, whether it is eating powerful foods, whether it is supporting someone else, is also through these hands. So therefore, please remember that despite your health challenges you may be experiencing, the divinity of knowledge, the divinity of abundance, and the divinity of power lives within you. So what I do is I tend to look at my hands and I remember that. And, I have in my book right here something that I can read for you. There is, how to perform the ritual, so you can find all those details. And then there is a chant here that I'd like to chant. And of course, there is a teaching on how to chant it, but it goes, Karagare vasate Lakshmi, Karamadhye Saraswati, Karamule Sthita Gauri, Mangalam Karadarshanam. Saraswati is the deity, the universal deity of knowledge. And Lakshmi is the universal deity that blesses you with abundance. And Gauri or Durga is the universal deity that blesses you with power, strength, resolution, and physical and mental health. And Ayurveda wants to tell you that you don't have to go looking for them anywhere. They are right here in your arm. And so in English, you would say, I am looking at my own Saraswati, who blesses me with knowledge. I am looking at my own Lakshmi, who blesses me with abundance. I can see you, Gauri, who imparts me tremendous health. And now you three goddesses, you bless me in the morning. So I would just hold my hand here or here. And I've had people with long-term depression, low self-esteem. Stuff happens. You bless yourself. Your mind has gone from tamas, darkness, rajas, distraction, into channeling and connecting with the highest powers of this universe. Who are you? And Ayurveda reminds you, you're not just your perishing body. You're not just your anxious mind. You are that great being. You are great spirit. You are Atman, the boundless one. Bless yourself every morning and see how your day rolls by. So I have added, these things also to my teachings because I grew up in a traditional family. I am so fortunate that I did not study Ayurveda as is the modern trend of trying to strip it away from its spiritual roots of the Vedas and try to kind of propel it as the weak and sad little cousin of Western medicine. Hey, if I need Western medicine, I'm going to check out Western medicine. But if I want Ayurveda, I want the real deal. I want the way the rishis and rishikas were living. I want to live Ayurveda the way the yogis and the yoginis were living. I know that Ayurveda was the lifestyle of the meditators, of the self-realizers, of the self-actualizers. This was the lifestyle. This I teach you. And this I welcome you to. I really hope that more than anything I told you, my spirit was infectious. I really hope that my Atman and your Atman, which by the way, Ayurveda says is one. We share different body suits and different minds, but we share a common self. We're talking right now. We're happy right now. We're connected right now. And I have managed to convey in the short time available to me a really deep secret, the secret that you're a self-healing entity and you can awaken to perfect health, aham arogyam, right inside you with all my love. And I really wonder, Christy, if we have time for some Q&A right now.
Yes, we absolutely do. Thank you for that. It was so beautiful. You know, you talk about the spirit being so contagious and really connecting into that. I definitely felt lifted with everything that you said. And I'm curious about what you shared in terms of growing up in a lineage of such a rich tradition of teachings and offerings. Given that it has so much to teach us in the West, how do you suggest we start to adopt some practices that can really help us heal our lives without stripping away the richness of the lineage?
The good thing about Ayurveda is that though it is connected to a lineage of teachings, the Vedas themselves were universal. They are a Hindu heritage, but they go beyond the Hindus. They talk about superconsciousness. They talk about timelessness. They talk about infinity. They talk about, expanding and collapsing universes. So this can't just be, restricted to a certain time, place, or type of people. So the way you can really connect to the lineage teachings of Ayurveda, I wonder if my dog is being too playful, too healthy, too happy, but he's, playing in this room. So let me know if the sounds are in any way disturbing our beautiful dialogue. But coming back to the point, the way to really enjoy the lineage teachings is to really embody even this short ritual that I taught you. Or, for example, in my writings, I talk about the moment you get up, whether you get up at 9 a.m. or you get up at 6 a.m., first thing you do after you use the bathroom is open the curtains and look at the sun and say, thank you. Your light and my light is the one, remind me of my light. Now, one can poo-poo this and say, I don't really care. I just want the herbs. I just want the nutrition information and give me the doshas. I'm out of here. Or you could also say, you know what? Maybe there is a free healing service in the sky, and that's called the rising sun. And let me just give this author or this teacher, Shunya, a chance. Let's give her teachings a chance, and let me do this for 30 days. And within 30 days, your mind and your physical health will turn around. This is my challenge to anybody. And it is true. We are not orphans. We are supported by the whole universe. So a lineage teachings mean being willing to connect with the invisible forces of healing in the universe too. Not just the tangible, but the non-tangible too. Even Einstein has talked about it, that there is the physical and then the non-physical. So we should not just sit in our box of evidence-based medicine, that if it's not been confirmed by a lab, then it will not be confirmed, because Ayurveda is ahead of its time, and it has been talking about invisible forces called the doshas, and are in the mind, but people follow it. And I'm just grateful to, even my publisher, sounds true. I just mean it, because, to promote the message of teachers like me and the students who promote my message, because you can become an ambassador for this whole lineage teaching versus the diluted, stripped down, very physicalized version of Ayurveda that's more out there. I feel like people then plug into Ayurveda, but they walk away with a shadow of Ayurveda rather than the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, going to that ritual of waking up and blessing ourselves and being grateful for the sunshine, that is a beautiful daily practice, it seems to me. I'm also thinking about moving into deeper, more consistent practices to help sustain or cultivate health, would I be approaching that in terms of looking to heal a specific condition that I have, or is it a matter of looking to lift some of the basic practices that you outlined for us in the book, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it does. The good thing about Ayurveda is, and the way I teach it is that, or the way the lineage teachings around Ayurveda are, that whether you are suffering from a condition or a cluster of conditions, or whether you're healthy and you want to maintain health, it's the same universal set of practices. If you're already healthy, you will remain healthy. And it's very important because you're having bio losses every decade. As you grow older, you're losing your vision, your mental strength, and all kinds of things, your fertility. So you want to maintain it. So there is, these regimens will keep you youthful and healthy longer. But if you have a certain condition, for example, Duncan, he was just trying out our different things and, living our lifestyle for eight weeks. He was not trying to heal his rash. He was not trying to heal his nighttime urination or improve his sleep, but they improved anyway. So the good news is it doesn't matter. But yes, an intention around, I want to connect with my inner health. I want to live by my birthright to be healthy is important. But these teachings are for the healthy and for the disease, and very critical for the diseased people. I would say so.
Mm-hmm. Can you say a little bit about how we might support ourselves when maybe we have so much negative layering on top of the Atman, on top of that fiery center of our being? How can I, or these teachings, support me in being kind or loving while I am also being bombarded with distractions from the outside or negative thoughts or patterns that maybe I've inherited from my own lineage, as opposed to, the healing lineage of Ayurveda?
Or we have inherited from our global human lineage right now.
Yes.
That's through a lot of.
Yes.
It's very important. It's a very important point. It's like a clutter. Our mind can get cluttered, and it clutters and conceals our boundless ability. But it's right there. It's very close. It's closer than even, I'm sorry to say that, I don't want to offend any religious person, but it's even closer than any other God you can call upon. Call your inner God. Call your inner guru, and it's going to help you, of course, in devotion to all kinds of gods. This is a very important point, and this is why, like in my case, I didn't end up writing like a tiny book. It's considered a Bible. Like, do daily readings. Want to it's like this one. You want to be around voices, sound that change your thoughts, because there is a Sanskrit saying in the Veda which says, Yad bhavam tad bhavati. As you think, so you become. This comes from the Veda. So if you think aham arogyam, so even this mantra, once you realize a toxic thought is coming, that cancer is incurable. And then you go, wait, aham arogyam, health is my true nature. So what you do is you counteract a toxic or a negative thought with a chosen thought, a conscious thought called aham arogyam. So here is a negativity, and you suffuse it with positivity intentionally. And then when you are with the teachers or with a certain, we call it satsang, a group of truth speakers, a group of enlighteners, or the sounds of health, the sounds of hope. You want to find those teachers, those speakers, those leaders, and be surrounded by them. You're born into whoever you're born into. You have a neighborhood that you can't just change the people who are your neighbors, but you can choose who are the people whose voices you will entertain from here to here and allow to live here. And so gradually it happens. And then it happens, because the thing is, whenever you choose light, you are helped, because light is your true nature. Whenever you choose it, you walk 2 steps towards it, the light walks 4 steps towards you. That's the thing. But we stay paralyzed and afraid. And that's why, as a teacher, I realized I didn't want to just give the knowledge. I wanted to convey my light.
Mm-hmm. You've shared about food, our thoughts, our blessings, and gratitude. I saw you in an interview once, and you were wearing a beautiful coral colored top, and you were talking about how color also can help support and heal us. You mentioned a bit about how we can clear clutter in the home to also support us, just as nature and the elements can support us. Can you share a little bit more with us about what we can do in our homes or in our office spaces, in the places that we move in daily life? What can we do to help lift our spirits?
The space element around you is very important. And so I wish I could give you a tour of my home. It's a tiny home, but it's beautiful. And when, people or students walk in, they feel a big difference right away. So my home is my temple, and I have aromatic flowers growing everywhere. And, all sorts of things are happening here that are healing to me. So I imagine my home like my body. Everything is intentional, has a place, it's clean, kept, and beautifully put. And I also wear a lot of beautiful colors which evoke sattva, such as the coral color, the colors of the rising sun. And today I'm dressed like the moon. Everything is white, including pearls. So because I did a moon meditation last night, and I was connected with it. So these things are, they may sound really simple or childlike, but they are profound. Because if you look at nature too, she's talking to us in her colors, and even disease talks to us in colors. The red angry pimple, and the blue rash, and the gray dull dying skin. So we know that these colors are the colors of health, the colors of the marigolds, the colors of the sunflowers. They're different. They talk to the sun, for example. So I would say that, one, if you want to be happy and healthy, and the Ayurveda 101 says that make sure that the 5 elements in your home are in a good space, or in a good place. So you should have your space uncluttered. The water element should be, you should drink pure water, ideally warm, so that it helps your digestion. And in summers, you can add fresh, non-pesticide, organic rose petals to your water and drink it. You can even make rose sharbat with it, where you take lots of rose petals from your own home garden, add some hot water, add some sugar, that it becomes your own homegrown rose sharbat. So your water element is really beautiful. Or you can drink a marigold tea with marigold leaves and flowers, and that is, creates weight loss, reduces redness, improves your skin. So all these teachings I give, but the water element is not just, I'll just open a water bottle because it says fresh, I'll believe it. So I don't even know when this water bottle sat there. And anything that sits has tamas or heaviness quality. So this water is going to give me heaviness versus some fresh water, That's what I would say. And then the fire element, through colors in my home, through cooking my food, with the right fire, to welcoming the sun, keeping the curtains open for a certain period of the day, not just keeping that closed, making sure I'm exposed to the sun and to the moon and to the stars. I have a good relationship with the fire element. Then the earth element. I often lie down in summers, on the grass and just be with it. I remember teaching a CEO and his whole multi-million-dollar making team how to lie down in their terrace garden for 10 minutes before their corporate meetings, and their money improved. How much money they made, and earth, they needed earthing. And increase with meditation, you're earthing. And also sometimes I spend time in garden with the soil, etc. So that's also being part of being with earth. So this way, the 5 element awareness can happen. Similarly, we can look at foods. So when you fast or when you eat very light foods like rice cake, that is space element. When you eat juicy fruits, etc., that's water element is there. Anything that is sticky, gluey, juicy, liquidy, liquid-like, that would have water element. Anything that's hard, like nuts or meats, or wheat or barley or millet, these would have earth element in it. The spices like cumin, saffron, mustard, all of these have fire element in them. So you add a tiny bit and it helps your own fire. And air element, anything that's that crackles when you eat it, that's dry, that's moving, I can eat that. So, this awareness around what do you need, etc., it cannot happen in a day, but if people just give a systematic reading of maybe even my book, give themselves a few weeks, make notes along the side, meditate upon that teaching. I have received letters from all over the world of people beginning to connect with their inner healer. It's happening.
Mm. So I was saying that your book is just really rich with all of the practices and background and information on how we can cultivate an Ayurvedic lifestyle. You shared throughout the presentation, though, that in the West in particular, we are looking for solutions that are fast and quick and compact. We want that pill. But you say that learning this and cultivating this lifestyle doesn't have to be so hard charging. We don't have to have such effort and put ourselves under so much pressure. Can you share a little bit more about how easeful or effortless developing this sort of lifestyle truly can be?
Absolutely. I think that's a great question because, it's something in a foreign language, from a foreign culture, from a long time ago. And say people were to read my book, they would think, oh my God, this is a big book. Do I need to do a PhD to, feel happy? Actually, no. The thing is, even I'm implementing a few things even now in my life. It's not like health will improve after you've done things. That's not at all the case. Even if you take one practice, for a few weeks, you'll see a difference. And then nothing succeeds like success. When you feel good, you'll want to do the other thing. It's like, I have done my part of putting it out there so that you don't have to buy 100 books. And I've also quoted the references from the classic text, so she's not just making it up. How today we just kind of self-declare some theories. Mm. This is like the real deal from the real ancient Vedic texts. It's all out there. You might take a few years to really even go through all of it and decide which practices you want, and there may be some you never do. You may not need them. Why would you need all those practices? Some practices work for some people, some for others. So explain my students that Ayurveda is like this beautiful tree with all kinds of fruits on it, and you're not supposed to eat all the fruits and the tree to be healthy. You're just sometimes even resting under that tree, like you're doing right now, is so good. Just being with somebody who's not saying, I figured it out, who's saying, I'm genuinely conveying to you that this has been figured out. It has been known for thousands of years, and I'm giving it to you without dilution or disturbing it. I'm just giving it to you. It's going to help. Here are some case studies. These are real people like you. You too can benefit. What did Brit do? She picked up 5 things, and one of them was just giving herself flowers. And in her practice, what does she do? As a result, she only teaches 5 things. But I'm her teacher, so I wanted to put all the 500 things out there. But at the same time, it's so easy. And the best part is, it's like Mother Nature wants to reward you. Every time you connect with her, she rewards you by connecting you with sattva here and arogyam or health here right away. You don't have to wait for, the other four things to come in place. Then after a few weeks, you might think you want to do another thing. Like, oh, maybe I started waking up early, but she was mentioning it's nice to sip some hot water. Why don't I keep a kettle in my bedroom, an electric kettle? So you kind of get around and do that. And then you drink the hot water and you go, oh my God, it's true. It not only feels good, but actually I had better bowel movements. Because I had better bowel movements, I'm actually feeling better hunger. Because I'm more hungry, I'm actually not putting the weight there, but converting it into energy. See, it's all connected, but you took your time to do it. So now you may be in a hurry. For example, you may be suffering from a condition like arthritis or eczema or something. And you may want to go with it. Like, I want to do this fast. I'm not going to stop you, but it's really up to you. I don't think the person Duncan, who came to me when he was 68, really learned more than 10, 12 practices, but he loves them. And his blog said, feeling like $1 billion guy. And that's what's important. So yes, it's a very gentle system that works with you the way you want to work with it. And I would say go slow and steady and fall in love with a whole new you, rather than bringing that old mindset of, oh, I gotta be victorious somehow. You already are victorious. This is just a teaching to celebrate yourself.
Shunya, thank you so much. I definitely feel like this conversation, your teaching, has been a healing in itself and is inspiring me to do more.
I'm glad, because whenever we speak our truth, it has power. And, I was born with what is now known as a genetic condition that puts people in wheelchairs. And I've had times when I couldn't walk, I couldn't lift a cup, my entire body was inflamed. People with my condition are in wheelchairs, they are on multiple painkillers, they are, in serious handicapped life. And I remember one time I was a teenager, I couldn't move, I was in pain, and my Baba, my guru, came to me and spoke the truth. And he said, if you can't walk, you can still fly. And what he meant was metaphorical wings of knowledge to create a whole new way to walk. And I'm walking, I'm running. And then life threw a curveball and I had an accident and I lost neck mobility. And I had so much pain. And I was told that you will need, again, a serious, surgery, painkillers all your life. You may or may not, even be able to sit up. I'm back here. I may not have perfect mobility, but once again, health lives in me. We'll be interviewing again. I'll be back fully. It's just been amazing how I have used Ayurveda, the philosophy and the practices to come back again and again. A new truth has power.
I feel the truth in that, just as you were sharing it. Thank you so very much. What a gift to be with you today. Okay. Thank you once again, Acharya Shunya, for sharing your wisdom with our community. And I'd like to thank all of those of you who've joined us for this session. Please note that the recording of today's session is going to remain accessible for free for 24 hours. And if you wish, you can purchase the entire summit with lifetime access to each recording, transcripts from each session, and bonus gifts from our presenters. For Sounds True, I'm Christy Peoples, thanking you again for being with us and extending a deep bow of gratitude to Acharya Shunya. SoundsTrue.com, waking up the world.